didn't have time to do this last time, but I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna get first my congratulations from Kurt, and after that I'm going to ask him to convert the white apricorn I picked up in the last video. Was it in the last one? I think it was, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna ask him to convert it into a real Pokeball. I don't remember which type of Pokeball it's going to turn out into, but okay, this lure ball here, it's a reward for what I did in the well, but that's not necessarily what a white apricorn does. So anyway, this is the only time I'm gonna do this because, as I said in the last video, the process of making custom balls is insanely tedious. So I'm only gonna do this once, and I'm going to use regular Pokeballs and Ultra Balls for everything I actually need to catch. I don't know why, but this reminds me, my channel has crossed a few milestones lately. I am now over 300 subscribers, nothing like Chugga's 19,000, but still, it's fairly decent. I honestly didn't expect to get that many, especially after I started that in early October last year, so it's almost been 8 months, not bad. And yeah, I've also obtained, you know, there's a counter in my profile which counts the total amount of views between all my videos. Well, I have obtained over 100,000 views for all my videos put together. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you keep enjoying the job I do. So I'm just gonna pester Kurt here. Can you work faster? Can you work faster? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I guess we're not there yet. We're gonna have to wait until tomorrow at the earliest if I want to get that ball, whatever type it is. Now, before I head to the gym, I'm going to buy about 10 Pokeballs because, well, I only have 2 right now. And we already know that I am going to be catching an Abra soon, but I also want to have a few more balls on hand just in case I encounter a shiny. Because it would really suck if I encountered a shiny and I was all out of balls. I don't know if this has happened to anyone among you, but it hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine it would suck pretty bad. And speaking of shinies, the way shininess is determined is different in this generation compared to the other ones. That is 3 and 4, because in Generation 1 there weren't any shinies. So 10 Pokeballs, now I can head to the gym, which is a bug-type gym. Now Quilava is going to rampage in this. And, well, as for Ghastly, I'm not gonna bother with it anymore until I fight Silver, and even after that until I learn Thunder. It's at a good enough level to try and put that Croconaut to sleep without taking substantial damage in case it misses. At least I think it's good enough. Maybe the game disagrees with me, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But it figures that the bug gym would be the second one, because back then, even in the second generation, there weren't many useful bugs. There was Heracross, and I think that's about it. I don't remember exactly how Fortress and Scizor did, but I don't think they were that good. Maybe Fortress, but Scizor, I think, still lacked moves there to back up the stats it had. Unlike now where it's the dominant force, but still, no real usable bugs. And even in the 4th generation, you know, they stuck a bug trainer in the Elite Four and they were forced to give it Beautifly and Dustox because of that regional dex garbage. That girl here is May? Yeah, so I know it's not the May, but it's still a bit awkward to encounter a random trainer with the same name as one of the major characters in the series. And I think we can all bet that there's going to be no more random trainer named May in the history of ever. Okay, so now I'm fighting twins, and quite frankly, when I fight twins, I expect double battles. But double battles didn't exist quite yet, so I think we're just going to have to make do with 2 crappy bugs to take out one by one. Not that I'm complaining, I don't like double battles at all. But anyway, I was talking earlier on about how shininess is determined. In this generation, it's a little bit weird because it depends on the IVs of your Pokemon. That's right, there are only certain combinations of IVs that can make a Pokemon shiny. And in all of these combinations, defense, speed, and special, because there is still only one special IV in Generation 2, even though it's been split into 2 stats, it's still just one IV in order to keep the first 2 generations compatible with each other, because it would be really hard to trade Pokemon if there were 2 special IVs, one for attack and one for defense, but that has been fixed in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, so there's no more concerns to be had about, you know, one IV for 2 stats. So what I was saying is that defense, speed, and special, they're all 20 when it's a shiny. All the time. Well, I should say it's 10 because the formula in the first 2 generations, it doubles the IV in the calculation for the stats, whereas if the IVs go higher in the last 2 generations, except that they're not multiplied by 2. So instead of 0 to 15, then multiply by 2, it's 0 to 31. Still, I'm going to keep saying it's an IV of 20, just in order to, you know, because that's how things work today. It would be 20 today, and, well, I think you get the idea. The one thing to remember is that IVs in the first 2 generations are only even numbers between 0 and 31, except of all numbers between 0 and 31. So yeah, defense, speed, and special are all 20. Attack can be 4, 6, 12, 14, 20, 22, 28, or 30. All these combinations can lead to a shiny. And if you're wondering, what about HP? Well, in the first 2 generations, HP didn't have its own IV. It was calculated using bits and bytes of the other IVs. So the IV for HP using these combinations would always be 0 or 16. What that means in a nutshell is that if you want a Pokemon with good IVs, then using a shiny is a surefire way not to get what you want, because defense, speed, and special are guaranteed to be slightly above average, attack can be almost anything, and HP is either going to be complete garbage or average. So competitively in the Generation 2, don't use shinies. It's as simple as that. Oh hey, a Beedrill, and we're not even at Bugsy yet. Though Bugsy uses a Kakuna instead of a Beedrill, which really sucks. I'm gonna come back to it while I fight him. But back to shinies, the way shininess was determined in the next generation, that is Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and on, is that there is a piece of data that exists only for the purpose of determining if it's a shiny or not. So you can have a shiny with perfect IVs, you can have a shiny with worthless IVs, you can have a shiny with absolutely anything in between. And HP has its own IV, so does special defense, so there's no more need for crazy math gymnastics when it comes to calculating stats and shininess and such in the last 2 generations. Though a direct consequence of that is that they had to forget about backwards compatibility, because the mechanics when it comes to calculating such things are so different between generations 2 and 3 that it was simply impossible to keep backwards compatibility in, which is part of the reason Fire Red exists, and soon Hard Gold and Soul Silver as well. Okay, I think that was the last underling. I'm just gonna check down there. Yep, it was the last one. So up next is Bugsy.